office numbers are 572-0383 and 572-0215. Rev-Up St. Lucia, the alpha of radio.
Hello there, good morning, good afternoon, good night to our listeners and our viewers in St. Lucia and across the globe, especially those of you on Facebook, on YouTube and on X. Welcome to another Hard Drive for today, Wednesday, the 11th of June. I'm Andre Paul, the co-host, to my immediate left, none other than the lovely Keena. Keena, good morning to you.
Good morning, Andre. Good morning, Tony. Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing?
I'm well. Tony, how about you?
Well enough. Yeah, well enough. Well enough. I'm all right.
Yeah?
Usually, I say I'm great, I'm fine, but I ain't exactly
We could
fine,
do it.
so.
We could deal with all right.
Yeah.
So
all
it
right.
means that
All right.
you're there.
All right can work.
Yeah,
right?
all right can work.
Okay.
Yeah. At least you're being honest. And that's what matters.
How are you doing?
All right.
Yeah?
I'm all right.
Okay. Andre, how are you
Andre,
doing?
how are you?
I'm well.
All
Okay.
right.
Yeah. Let me just let our listeners and viewers know that coming up at 11:30, following Papa, I used to say, we have a special coming up. Really something nice from the folks at Bellevue Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're going to be giving away some stuff and talking about their Father's Day activity coming up this coming Sunday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be part of that activity, Tony, part of that affair.
Amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. It's an all-inclusive vibe. I think 300 and some change. Let me get the exact figure.
And we will know a whole bunch more
Yes,
a little later on.
325 EC dollars, all inclusive. All inclusive. So this sounds the kind of vibe that you and your friends would like,
Yeah.
Yeah, all you can eat, all you can drink.
All you could eat, all you could drink. Till 6 p.m., right?
That's right, from 11 a.m. to 6
6
p.m. All you can eat, all you can drink.
Yeah.
And not only that, they have games like domino competition and all that
They
as
have,
well.
yeah. No,
So
yeah.
dancing, the best dressed couple
Yeah.
and all that as
Giving
well.
away prizes.
So that's amazing.
I think they have. Is it? Let me just get it there. There's a. Okay, I'll get it. I'll get it. Yeah, I think best dress, best dancing couple, complimentary weekend for two, spa treatment for the dad. Some real good stuff.
Complimentary weekend for two.
That's
you know
correct.
what?
Wow.
Usually, and we said it yesterday that dads are not really honored around Father's Day. Most people don't really think about fathers. Everything is all about the mothers. And I'm happy that this year there's somewhat of a shift with so many companies coming on board and Rev-Up St. Lucia trying to do things differently to recognize the importance of fathers in our lives.
Very much so.
I disagree.
You disagree with what part?
Yeah, that
Fathers?
there's shift. There's no real shift.
I see the shift.
Well, it
There's no
sounds that
shift.
way maybe because we're making it sound that
there's
way.
Well,
so many-
exactly.
that's what I said.
There's no shift. I talk to the business people and so on, and they tell you Father's Day is generally very quiet. They have a lot of difficulty getting fathers to come out and this sort of. They say with mothers, oh man, please jam packed. That's how it is.
People looking to buy stuff for their moms.
Yeah, but there's no real shift. Sorry to disappoint you.
It's already starting, and that's what's important. That we do have companies now that weren't before that are doing something differently.
That's one.
And that's what I was saying.
That's one, and for me also,
So that's the shift.
right, to make a big deal about it as we're doing. Maybe that is setting the trend.
I'm not talking about that. That's a separate thing that we are doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about the business individual, people who are supposed to be the ads. You had ads blasting all over the place.
Father's Day,
Father's
Father's Day,
this,
Father's
Father's
Day.
that, Father, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. We are probably setting the trend for come perhaps next year. You might hear, we're like, wow, okay, well, Rev-Up did this thing last year, and it seems as though it was really good. So perhaps as a business place, or as business places, we now should follow that lead and make advertise for Father's Day.
I don't know. Where do you think we went wrong as fathers?
Andre, you always afraid of things saying, Andre, we lapo. you understand? We lapo Andre as fathers, and that's not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Just like they say, motherhood or mothering is not for everybody. Maybe I could say we had a case in point, Andre. You, me, and our other siblings, we had a case in point. Mothering is not for everybody. Just like fathering is, you're just not a good mother. You're just not a good father.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see yourself as a provider and the things that you need to do to father your children or to mother your children.
Yes. I guess to some degree, maybe we don't want to push forth the effort. Maybe we feel our role is just to be a provider.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Exactly.
Right? Just a provider. And even that, I think for a lot of us is a challenge.
Yes.
Just being a provider.
I know of someone who actually said those exact words to me, Andre. He just thought, a guy, he just thought, because that's how he grew up. He just thought that's his role. Oh, the child needs milk.
Yes.
I still let Bali.
And even the system kind of encourages that to some degree, because you see the system, for example, makes a big deal about child support, right? They make a big deal, but emotional support, that's kind of like on the back burner.
Right. I didn't realize that's where you were going.
Yeah.
But that's well said.
It's kind of on the back burner.
Well said.
Yeah, but the and you see the mothers especially make a big deal about it. It's important.
Yes.
Right? So they prioritize the financial support, which is important. We can't get away from that. But the emotional support is just as important. I think that's where we didn't do too well. We haven't done well for the most part.
Right. Now, usually people hear one thing that you say, and they just jump all over that. Before you jump all over me, fathers, I did say that there are great. No, I didn't really say that, but I meant there are great fathers. There are fathers who do it by themselves, just like some mothers.
That's true.
Okay, so let me just make sure I put that in there before you just look at me and say, fathers, labo. That's all you heard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But Tony, I mean, I look at the issue of Father's Day dances and so on. I'm just talking about the country and western dances and so on. When is the Mother's Day? This place is listen, there's not a community that's having those events and it's a flop. Jam-packed with women. Probably 80% of the crowd there, women. Yeah. Okay? Now, you'd get a day like this coming Sunday, you're hard-pressed. You're hard-pressed to see fellas inside there. And that's their time.
Again, if you there are great fathers out there, and they've been providing, and they've been more than providers for their children, and there are some not so good fathers. But I think going into Father's Day, I think just celebrating fathers on the whole is what is important, because our fathers in St. Lucia, they are doing amazing jobs, and even when they do try, they hit a brick wall. For many reasons. I'm not quite sure if it's the norm in our society for most women to seek financial assistance as opposed to, the emotional aspect of that father being in that child's life. It could be a multitude of things. But again, financial assistance, like Andre said, is just as important as emotional, a father being present physically and a father being there for that child emotionally. And to the women out there who think that all I want from you is just money, you are doing a disservice to your child, because you might think that right now, hey, and be saying awful things about this man to this child. And maybe he might be an awful dad, but not an awful person. Have you ever given him that opportunity to be an amazing dad without beating him down every time you get, or without saying negative things to his children about him? And a lot of the times some men really want to be there, and they just don't know how to. There's a push back of sorts, and it's a struggle for them to get in that. And you would find some fathers that would maybe say to themselves, or they maybe have that supportive structure where their family members or friends would say, "That's why, don't give up. Just keep trying. Just keep trying." That child gonna get older, and that child would realize that you've always been there, as opposed to just taking a step back and being, that woman just a pain, man. Every time I try to see my child, it's a difficulty. I'll wait till my child gets older. But when that child gets older, have you ever thought that what that child remembers is you not being present in his or her life? So by the time you do try to make things right, it's too late, because they were at secondary school, you didn't show up. They were at primary, you didn't show up. They were at preschool, you were not there. You were not providing for them. So they remember my dad not being there. So no matter what that woman is doing, it might be difficult, it might be a pain, and I know some women out there are difficult. And if you want a woman listening that is terrorizing, I would call it that father in your child's life, stop, because it affects that child long term. You might think that you're benefiting from it because you don't want him around your child, but you have other men around that child. But in the long run, you're not the one suffering, it's that child.
Now, well taken. But I have a little caveat. I will caveat. Sometimes the ladies are in the right because they're protecting the child's welfare. Some guys, right, are just not good role models for the children. Some guys, I think I spoke about that some time ago, where a lady literally, I know her personally, she literally left the country because the guy was a sort of danger to the child. She said he would take the child and he would be driving recklessly with the child, okay, as a baby at the back of a vehicle, you're driving recklessly. And in addition to that, he had some issues that something he caught, okay, and he had this thing in his mouth and so on. And she said he'd come by now and they're kissing the child, okay, and that could spread to this child. So she had to literally. So I'm saying, well, I understand what you're saying, Keena, and that's a very good point. There's some mothers who have to do that to protect for the child's welfare, right?
And there are some instances,
However, there are some ladies who seem quite content. They're quite content as long as you're providing financially. They're quite content with that. You could stay in your corner. All right? And sometimes they do that because of issues in the relationship that existed. Maybe there was a breakup and it was a bad breakup. Maybe it's cheating, whatever was taking place. So they're quite content if you're just providing the financial financial resources, right? However, the emotional, right? If that guy doesn't mean bad for the child, okay, and you do have issues with the guy, you're upset with him, you're angry at him, you hate him as well, you have to think of the child's emotional well-being. I'm saying, Tony, as long as he doesn't pose a danger to being around the child, she should allow him. Try to be mature enough to put aside your personal differences and allow the guy to bond with his child. You know, there's a lot of studies that are out which indicate how important the male, the father figure in the female, right? A
girl child?
A girl child, yeah. It's really, really important. It's super important, all right? And the bond that she has with the father, with her father, sometimes, Tony, the father sets such a high standard. Let me give you a little example. There was a guy in the U.S. who had cancer. He knew he was going to die. So what he did, he went to a flower shop and he made arrangements with the flower shop that from a particular age, that every year they would deliver flowers to his daughter. Okay, every year. And he had a note for each year. I think for about 5 years, he sent a note along with that. So a note saying, okay, you're 16 now, you're 17 now, blah, 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 until about 20. Now you're telling me, you think a girl like that is just going to pick up any old Joe Blow around the place? Come on. Here's a guy who understands that bond between the father and the daughter and is making his daughter feel you are really, really, really important to me. So not only for the bonding with the father and the daughter, the father and the son as well. The same kind of bonding where you make your child understand and know that I love you, I want what's best for you. I'm going to sacrifice. I'm going to do everything I can to ensure that you understand that I love you. So not just saying it, I'm going to show by my actions how serious I am. Let me tell you, that works miracles in the lives of these children, right? Because they feel special. Yeah. And Kino was saying something a while ago. I wonder, do you think it's ever too late?
Yeah.
That there are times it's just too late.
Yeah, there are times it's just too late.
Yeah.
Depending on how that child was raised, though. Because there are some children, they've always yearned for the father's presence. And when that father finally comes around, depending on whether they've done the work and the forgiveness to forgive that father for not being in their lives, they can make amends and it can work. But rarely it does.
Right. Very rarely. Because what happens is, I suppose the child would probably see you as maybe just a sort of friend, so to speak, because it's been so many years. If it's years where the child kind of grew up without you, you feel like just a friend, like a partner. You know what I mean? Not like that's my father. You know what I mean? Or slash my mother. You know what I mean? So it's like that. That's not my father. That's like a friend who just came into my life recently, and we trying to bond a little bit, but it's more like a partner.
But fathers are very important in children's lives. It shapes their identity.
That's the bottom line.
And it's very, very important for a father to be there. It also helps build a child's confidence as well in many different ways. And if a father is there and he's protecting that child as well in various ways too, that's important. And to instill discipline, that's also important as well. Going to PTA meetings, going to maybe a game, sports or something of that sort, that's school, and just being present. Sometimes even though that mother is pushing back, and maybe rightly so, there are reasons, like Andre said, just alias ufila, what do it la, and say hi. You know, like be the fly on the wall. At least the child would still see daddy. If the child knows who daddy is, the child would still see your presence there. Just go. You know, don't stalk the person's home though. But I mean, if there's a restraining order against you, I ain't telling you go and do anything. Don't say Keena said. But if there's no restraining order and you want to be part of that child's life, if it's a sports meet, you just show up.
I was reading an ad this morning
hi.
for Universal Cycle Center, and there's a part of the ad that says it's a wonderful way for a dad to bond with his son or daughter, which is to buy some bicycle and the two of you riding together. And it's true. He says you're killing two birds with one stone. You're exercising, which is good for your health and so on. And then you're also bonding with your children, because Tony, I can tell you, kids would love that. Just my father riding with me and so on.
Definitely. Both of you articulated this quite nicely. Whatever it is that you can do with your child, you know, you just do it, because children look up to elders first of all, and mommy and daddy even more so.
Number one.
You know what I mean? Yeah. They look for your approval. You know what I mean? Honestly, it's a beautiful thing raising children.
It's stressful.
Yeah,
but it's beautiful.
It is indeed.
But it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of us men, we can't deal with the stress. Yeah, women seem to have more of tolerance, patience. I don't know. They just seem to be able to deal with it.
Yeah.
The issues that come with raising a child, because it's nice when you dress them up nicely and they're smelling nice and they're looking nice and everything. But then you didn't see what happens in the background. Like you had to clean that baby there before you left the house, right?
Wipe the backside. My favorite part: wiping the backside after they take a poop.
Exactly. You have to bathe them, and sometimes even if at a certain age, like Nairobi, for example, man. To brush her teeth is trying to pull teeth.
How you mean? What do you mean?
Like, in other words, she wastes a lot of time. Okay. So, you have to be at come on.
Let's go.
Okay.
Hurry up.
Daddy, count to 10. Count to 10. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When you get to 10 now, she runs outside.
She does something else.
Do something. You know what I mean? That's what we don't see. Right? And now to take the shower, that's another thing again. Right? They have to take time.
Sometimes
right. She's afraid of the water. She's afraid.
Right. Sometimes they don't even like to bathe.
So you're running out of patience, right? You run and you go on, babe, kind of thing.
No, but you know what's kind of funny? Not funny.
So that's what we don't see, and that's what a lot of us are afraid of. That
very true.
We are afraid of it, but again, when you look back, right, the same thing you're going through as a parent is the same thing your parents went through. The same things you did.
Not really. They
didn't do that?
They wouldn't allow you to do that.
Now, when Andrew was talking about the brushing your teeth counted, I'm like,
boy.
Honestly, I'm like, honestly, no.
But
for
not
me,
only that, so you can also, as a parent, look back at these instances or memories and just smile. As they get older,
that's what it does.
That's what it does. Bring back the memories.
Yes.
That's important. I don't have children of my own, but I have been around my nephews and my nieces and stuff, and just when they're not around, you remember something out of nowhere. Maybe you see a color and you remember something that they did, and it just makes you feel better.
You ever come across people who love children, but for a certain period of time?
That is amazing. Since you go there, I will. Because I thought we would just wrap it up and I wouldn't get to say what I wanted to say. But to go there, I might as well just go there.
Yes.
So in St. Croix in particular, they had this neighbor who had a few little children. And when they came around me, I would play with them. I'd have a really good time. And she said to me, wow, you'll be a real good father. I eventually had one, and I was a terrible father. It's hard for me to say this, but I figure, you know something? Yeah, Andre, I was not a good father. That's why I am able to say there's some people who just not cut out to be parents. I just was not.
Yeah, but Tony, we spoke about our own biological mother.
Yeah.
Right? She didn't have that kind of patience. She just didn't have it.
She was not Oh,
Yeah.
and she said it to me.
She loves you.
In her-
You love the child, but you just don't have that kind of, I don't know, the fortitude
Yes.
to deal with the stresses that come with being a parent.
In her.
And maybe to add to what Tony maybe said, it could have been the time in your life when you had your child. Obviously, maybe you were in St. Croix and children were coming around and playing. You were a lot younger.
Who, me?
Yes.
Oh, me in particular?
Yes.
Okay.
And then maybe years later you had your own child and in a different space.
Andre said it right. With those that are not yours, it's for a time.
Yeah, you know they have to go.
Yeah.
They have
You
to
know
go
they have
home.
to
But
go.
They have to
this
go home.
is yours. This is 24/7.
Was it like a shock to you?
Yeah. Dealing with my own child, yes, it was a shock. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Just everything was the child. The child almost came first with everything, and I couldn't handle that.
So in essence, you're saying that you were a little bit selfish.
I was, yes. I didn't know how to be a father.
Okay.
That's what I'm
At
saying.
least
And
you're
let me
being
tell you
honest
this.
about it, and that's that's good.
Our mother, biological mother, I need to say this, and then we're done. Well, we're not necessarily done, but me, I'm done. Our biological mother, in her ripe old age, actually said that to me. She was not cut out to be a mother.
Mm.
You know what I mean? She said it. She was just feel like she's not cut out for this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because it's a lot of stress.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of males now, we didn't sign up for that. We were about having fun, especially when you were young. It's about having fun, having a good
exactly.
time.
And
You
all of a
didn't-
sudden,
somebody come and tell you I'm pregnant.
I'm pregnant. Hey, hello?
Hey, what?
Yeah.
And we ask a stupid question. How did that happen?
No. You know, I'm going to put that line. With intimacy comes great responsibility.
Yeah, you're right.
You just never know.
Yeah.
You just never know.
Yes.
When it happens, you just know, okay, that was happening there. It was a fun time, but just in case.
I read a story this morning. About a guy in the U.S. He, his girlfriend told him that she's pregnant and she wants to have the child.
Oh yeah.
He told her,
Oh,
I'm going to pay for the abortion, and she said, no, I want to have the child. Now he didn't want her to have the child, so he put some abortion pill in her drink. So he spiked her drink, and she lost the baby.
I want to question
Ouch.
that. I never thought you were going to go there, but again, your chemistry, and it happens. It's on my mind. I heard the story this morning. I'm like, okay, Andre, how the heck you figure something he put in the drink?
Well, they didn't give all the details.
I realized
but
that.
no doubt.
I
I'm
realized
sure they
that.
did the investigations
They did
and
the
so on.
investigations.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. How they? I mean, there's so much. I don't know. My headphones sometimes somehow just feeling not loud enough. Yeah. They are.
Nonetheless, apparently there's a case there because they've charged him.
I got all
they've
of
charged
that.
him. Yeah.
Right.
Mm.
So is he? Well, you see, again, it didn't have all those details.
Mhm.
Is he accepting, or is he saying, "Nah, I ain't never"?
No,
put
for
nothing
him
in
to
your
have
drink."
gone to that point to spike her drink so she would have a miscarriage, that says a lot. It's disturbing on many levels.
It is indeed.
It's very disturbing.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
that
can you
person
imagine that?
trusts you. And to do something on that side because you...
And that's his girlfriend. That's his girlfriend.
Mhm. He
Now, you
probably
see,
thought,
the same thing I just said a while ago. You didn't sign up for that.
right.
You didn't sign up for it, but go seek counseling.
He probably
Not
thought.
spike someone's
Let me
drink.
see. He probably thought she would make a big deal of
But
it.
but there's a guy long ago. I read that story long ago. He did it same thing. The lady got pregnant. She wants to have the child. He injected the child with HIV. Yes, I think he was like a technician at some clinic or something. So he knew about those things. And that guy went to jail. I remember that story. It's a long time ago, since the days of RSL, when I used to be at RSL.
Oh, wow.
Long time
Oh,
ago.
wow.
Okay, so we didn't. That's the thing. You didn't sign up. It was just about having fun. Now you're right, Keena. You're right. With intimacy comes great responsibility. I like that, and it's true. So we didn't sign up for that. So we are angry, we're upset, and then now that's where you see all the roar starts now. The name calling,
Oh, yeah.
the anger, the rage.
Oh yeah. On,
Okay.
on both
Sides, yeah.
Both
Yeah,
sides.
now that you get pregnant, you don't want me anymore, and this
that's
kind of
right,
thing. And the
that's
guy
right.
maintains his distance. He doesn't come around because he's angry. He's angry, and I think both parties handle those things badly.
I think that's something, that's a conversation that needs to happen surrounding, intimacy and pregnancy and how men or women, deal with the news, because not every woman would be, okay, I'm pregnant, DPIA. And not all men would be, okay, she's pregnant. She's pregnant? Really? Okay. Oh yeah. No, it's not. It's not that way for everyone, and we should have conversations of that sort. What happens after you found out that you're expecting? What should you do? Counseling, parents, whatever. For as long as I could remember, even now, in my 40s now, I do not know how I'm going to break the news to my mom or my family. I don't know. There's this fear still. Mommy, I'm pregnant. I'm like, okay, how do I say it? I've never been pregnant, but for me, at the back of my mind, I always do think, what if one day I am pregnant? How do I break the news to? How do you break the news to your family? I don't know. I've always, for me, maybe I'm different, but I've always,
at 40-10, if you're pregnant, you're pregnant. At 16, 17, 18.
Has always been there. I think it's maybe because of something that was said to me in my 20s, and I've always had that fear, right, of having a child with the wrong person.
Now it's a whole different discussion.
Yeah.
Having a child with the wrong
always no, because when I say the wrong person, you see people, they are so in love. They want to get married, and they get married, and the child comes. It's like, what just happened? You 1 minute you were so in love, neck and neck and holding and kissing and everything, and the next minute it's like, what? That was the fear for me, and I was like, I ain't going there.
Yeah,
but that's more love. You brought more love into this world.
That was my fear, and still is.
Bring more love to
because I've seen so many relationships crumble after a child, and for now that has changed because but back then that was my fear, and I think that's the reason why I chose not to have children.
A lot of the relationships crumble at that point there when you see a pregnancy is announced, because for a lot of guys, right, it's about having fun. You're having your fun. You didn't plan. You didn't discuss it before. There's no discussion, and all of a sudden you come and tell this guy that you're pregnant. It creates a lot of problems.
Yeah.
So the ladies, if yes, I know people make mistakes and so on, but as Keena correctly said, with intimacy comes great responsibility. That goes for both, right? The female should ensure she goes as far as possible, because that has not been a discussion. You haven't discussed that with the guy. You're just assuming that he's going to be happy about it. Okay, so you need to have that discussion with the guy.
You're just assuming the woman is going to be happy about it too.
What do you mean?
It goes both ways.
What do you mean? I don't understand.
Getting pregnant, having a child. Some women do have fun as well, but they don't want children.
Right. So you do what you have to do to ensure you don't have one.
Exactly.
Because
I have to agree with that. There are things that you can
be
do.
Done.
Yeah.
But when you tell a guy, I'm a big girl, I know what I'm doing.
I'm a big girl. I know what they do say that.
I'm a big girl now.
They do.
I know what I'm doing. I'm a big girl. Yeah, I'm a big girl.
And then the child comes out and is like,
and the guy goes, what? I thought you say you're a big girl.
No, but yeah, I could be a big girl, but you have to be responsible too.
Exactly.
And be a big man.
Exactly. And sometimes the guy makes that clear, very clear, that I do not want to have children. The guy makes that clear.
No, but if you make it clear that you don't want to have children, do what's necessary so you don't.
But you do, but I mean, things go wrong.
Right.
Things go wrong. Yeah, things go wrong.
Okay.
So that's why both now, if the two of you agree that you all do not want children at that point in time, both of you have to do what you have to do to ensure it doesn't happen.
I agree.
Right?
Totally.
Anthony, I know couples who made a decision not to have children yet. And it didn't happen. The lady did what she was supposed to do. The guy did what he was supposed to do to ensure it didn't happen. When they were ready, they had that discussion. I know that for a fact.
Yes, I
think,
I know that.
And then now, Tony, they do what they do to ensure there's a pregnancy.
Yes, but that would come with maturity.
Mm-hmm.
Maturity and in a committed relationship kind of thing.
Yeah.
But as you said, when we're young, I said the ages a while ago, it flew over your head, 16, 17, 18, 19, and teenagers kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You just enjoy
16,
yourself.
17, 18, 19. Oh, already.
You didn't sign up for that.
No, you're not ready for that. Don't go there.
Exactly.
That's not your territory. Wait.
How you mean don't go there? What happens?
It's not your territory. You shouldn't be. Nah.
What does that mean?
Nah, you know.
Well, I don't know. What does that mean?
You know what it means. Do I need to break it down?
Please do. I have no idea.
Excuse-moi?
That's not your territory. What does it mean?
L'autre côté.
When hormones flying all over the place.
16, 17, 18.
You want me to repeat? Shall I repeat?
Well, you know what? As parents, since you went there as a mom, a dad, you might know or might not know that your child is sexually active. Begin to have the conversations. Yeah, okay. Begin to provide your young men with condoms. If you think that they might be sexually active, begin as parents by the time they hit puberty to start having conversations, because you never know. Since Tony says 16, 17, 18. Well, Martin
Well,
last 16, 17, 18.
to be honest with you, I cannot see myself giving my son condoms. I can't do that.
So if your son comes home at 15 and he says, "Daddy, well, you know what? Cheyenne down the road, she pregnant, what would you do?"
Yeah, that's him. I mean, that's his decision. But I'm
His
saying
decision as a parent.
I cannot see me as a parent handing condoms to my
Mine
son.
at 18, my son at 18.
Oh my gosh.
He showed me a condom. He just showed it to me.
Yeah, I mean,
And I'm like,
go and discover your
I'm
thing.
like, you go, boy.
They teach it in school.
No, but you as a parent need to do your part as well, because apart from just, unwanted pregnancies, there's also STDs and STIs that you need to have the conversation.
Yes, you have a
with
conversation, but you say to give the boy condoms. I'm going to do
So
that.
I'm saying, so if your son is having, is sexually active, right? You're not going to be like, and take the lead and be like, you know what, I know you're doing this, but you also need to be protected because you're doing this, and I do not know what's out there, and I do not want you to come home with.
So how you know the boycotting people?
I'm just, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just having this conversation. We as parents, as guardians, need to have these conversations with our children.
I agree. If you suspect that your son or your daughter, right, that they're engaging in sexual activity, then you need to have that discussion with them. I agree. But sometimes you don't even know what's going on.
That's
But I'm just
exactly-
saying, for me as a parent to come and hand condoms to my son, I wouldn't do that.
Well, if I did have a child, I would do it.
You'd give your daughter condoms as
Yeah,
well?
man. Because I do not know what she's doing. You never know what your child is doing.
You're going to tell
might,
hold on.
No.
I
will have the
saying to us,
conversation
you're
with
having
my
a conversation.
daughter.
No. A while ago, you asked
Yeah.
me if I'm going to hand out condoms to my son. I'm asking you now. Would you hand condoms to your daughter?
Yes, I would. And I would explain why. And I'll do the teachings and I'll go through the motions, because as parents, I'm not a parent, but as
So
parents,
why would you hand condoms to your daughter?
You never know what your children are doing.
I'm asking you, why would you hand condoms to your daughter? I'm just curious. I'm curious.
I can answer it.
Answer it. Go ahead.
No, let her answer it.
No, go ahead. Because
because-
apparently you don't.
Right.
understand.
No,
He sees it,
As-
I think, encouraging them to go have sex. You are probably seeing it, and that's how I would see it too. Like, boy, just in case you're thinking about this, protection, this is the one way I know how to do it.
If I know for a fact
Yes.
that you are engaging in sexual activity,
Yes.
I having that discussion with you. I say, listen, you better be careful.
Yes,
But
you
sometimes
wouldn't,
you don't know.
you wouldn't give them
No,
the condom.
no.
You wouldn't
it's all-
know.
No.
Sometimes you just do not know what your children are involved in.
Exactly. So because you do not know, you've been
No, but
proactive.
you
in
should
giving
be
condoms.
having conversations with your children by the time they hit puberty.
Yes, you had that conversation. I'm talking about you said about handing condoms to my son. I'm saying I will not
If
do
I
that.
have a son, yeah, I'll do it.
And you said you're going to do the
And
same
if I
thing with
have
your
a
daughter.
daughter, yes, I will do it.
But Andre,
You're only saying that because you don't have children.
No, I will do it
I
if my
answered.
child is between 16, 17 or so, because I won't know. A child could say, no, mommy, I'm not doing anything.
Okay. I answered, what's your reason for not handing your son a condom? Or condoms?
You asking me?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were explaining. Sorry.
No.
Yeah, it's the same thing like me. Imagine. I can't imagine me having a conversation with my son about how to make love, what to do to a woman, what to do this, and I will not have that conversation with him.
If he comes to you and you ask, you'll tell him what?
Well, brother man, go and read a book. Go and read a book. Yeah, I will not have that kind of conversation with my son.
Why
Neither
not?
will I have that kind of conversation with my daughter either.
Right, I get
Are you
that.
crazy?
But why not?
I just said to you, Tony, that's to me that there's a certain demarcation, there's a certain place you just don't cross that line.
I heard you, and I'm telling you this. That's the kind of conversation you probably need to have with your children.
No, man. Well, I mean,
very, very correct.
Nah,
All-
you need to have
all-
conversations.
all-
of that.
all
If my child
thanks-
comes to me
all
and says,
thanks and
"Mommy,"
praises.
Especially the
or
child
so
comes to you.
Yeah,
on,
hold on.
Are you
All
I
kidding
will
me?
have the conversation.
Yeah, the child comes to you and asks you how to do this, how God is so and so and so.
No, man, no. I'm not
I
going to
don't
do
know
that.
about all the sexual aspect of it, but sometimes you do. Sometimes, as a parent, we're afraid to open up to our children, and they go somewhere else and get the
you
information
go.
from somewhere else.
But they
and
get
that
it at school.
information that they
But you get it at
from
school. What are you
somewhere
talking
else
about?
Would lead
But they
them
get it at school. So what are you talking about?
No, but if you're Andre, come on now. If your child comes to you, it's gonna be like, you gotta get it at school to
you
go at
saying
school,
as
go and read
though
a book.
you say as though they're not
And you
supposed to
can
get
give
it
them
from
that
any other.
information.
Hold on. You saying that they're not supposed to get it from any other source, but I'm telling you, they
I
get it
didn't
at
say
school.
that.
That's what you just said a while ago.
No, I didn't say that. I said if your child comes to you as a parent and asks and says, Daddy, Mommy, can you, it's okay. And if you don't feel comfortable with it, then find someone, maybe a pastor, a counselor, someone that you could send them to, but be there with them. Be supportive.
I was very clear. I said, when it comes to things like giving my children condoms, I will not do that. I also will not have a conversation with my children how to make love, what to do this and that. I will not have that conversation.
We never. I never said if a child
But that's what you said earlier.
And no.
No.
I never said that.
Yeah.
I never did.
You
No.
kind of you just brought it up.
No.
You just brought it up.
No.
You said, imagine my child coming to me and telling me how to do this and how to do that. Yes, but she never.
Okay, I never did. So we gotta get that clear.
I remember the subject came up about giving condoms to your children.
I did say that.
Right, exactly.
But I never went the other way.
Then I said
Exactly.
that's like having a discussion with my son about how to make love. And you tell me I'm supposed to have that discussion. That's what you said to me.
No, if you, Andre, I was
All right,
referring to
okay.
if your
Let's
child
leave that
comes
there.
to you and your child
Let's
is
leave that
saying
there.
whatever, and if when in their teenage years having a conversation.
Let us move on. Let's move on.
Let's move
on.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's move on. Let's talk about something much more exciting. Okay, like for example, what Yaslin has today at her place.
We just got so serious, and I'm like, wait a second, where's the humor that usually kicks off the program?
yeah, this thing there, Keena just went another level there all of a sudden. Anyway, so today you can enjoy turkey bouillon and pigtail bouillon today. We've had at Tony, the thing you love, dumplings.
My favorite fruit.
Dumplings, tanya, plantain. I imagine a green plantain. I imagine pumpkin and carrots.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, sounds pretty good, right?
Yes.
So turkey bouillon, pigtail bouillon with dumplings. Dumplings.
I was just about to correct you on that.
Dumplings. Tanya, plantain, pumpkin, carrots. Sounds really, really good to me. All right? So you have your choice. Either you can get the turkey bouillon or the pigtail bouillon. But they all come with the dumplings, the tanya, the plantain, the pumpkins, etc., and the carrots. All right? Beautiful. And don't forget the usual sea moss flavors, including coconut, ginger, peanut, and peanut punch, and regular sea moss with flaxseed and chia seeds. All happening at Yaslin's Bakery, Tony?
Yaslin's Eatery. Andre says things sometimes as if he's immune to making mistakes.
Not at all.
He
Not
just
at all.
have fun with you know what I mean? It's how we grew up, you know.
Really?
What? You make a, as we used to call it, faux pas. We all over that, man.
Exactly.
Like white on rice, right?
Exactly.
We ain't making you forget that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you end up with the name of the faux pas you made.
We got a generation gap.
Big
generation
time.
gap.
Big time.
Okay, so yes, so let's move on.
Let me just tell the listeners quickly one more time that we are unable to read your requests and so on that you have sent. Well, not just requests, but the shout outs and so, because right at 11 o'clock, we're going to have our Father's Day special. And that's where we started with this Father's Day and talking about all that stuff, you know, and just one thing led to another. But that's fine. Healthy discussions.
Yeah, so coming up at 11 o'clock this morning, Papa used to say. Okay? Papa used to say. Anthony, what is it? In fact, okay, I'll talk about it at 11 o'clock. What the other thing that Papa used to say.
Okay.
All right. Yes, so Tony and Keena, another homicide.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one happened on Sunday. Interesting how that just kind of coming out right now. I saw stuff on social media. I didn't really see. I just saw like a regular pic of the victim, and I didn't see any video. I don't know if you saw anything. If anybody shared anything with you.
No.
But I didn't really see any video or anything. Just a still shot of a guy.
Right.
And that was it.
Yeah.
And these days, Tony, I've become so wary of social media because I've been had so many times. You know, you see something and you just believe, you come repeat the thing, you're so sure that you have the correct information, and you know, it's just fake news.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or they make you believe it's St. Lucia and they're far from St. Lucia.
Exactly. So anyway, his name is a young fella, 29-year-old Denver Felix. He's from Marsha. So they said he succumbed to a gunshot injury. So I don't know if it was just one gunshot, I imagine.
Yeah.
That's what they said. And then also, I think there's a lady who spoke to the media, and she was also talking about her experience having lost a child as a result of gun violence and so on. That must be something that most parents, Tony, will never want to experience. To see you lose your child, and some people lose 2, some people lose 3, some mothers, right, as a result of gun violence. That must be one heck of an experience. I can't even begin to imagine what that must be like. So whether it's 2, 3, or 1, to me, is the same thing.
It is saying, but it is so hard, regardless of it, if it being that a child going that way, or even being sick and you have to bury your own child. That's our wedding, Andre. Wow, I should talk a little less. It's our wedding, boy. You know what I mean? Especially your child going that way. It is even harder. You didn't even have time to see 30 years old in your 20s, man. This is, Keena, we kind of hinted that a while ago at 19, 20, 21, 20, in them 20s there. Well, some people don't even think about, the life, as they say.
Yes.
Just started off.
Right. Just kind of started, you know what I mean? Like, okay, maybe,
their lives.
Right, making a few dollars and so on, and you're enjoying life. It's like, whoa, all of a sudden, bang, you're done, dead.
And sometimes, Tony, there's a child on the way.
Even that too.
They don't even get a chance to even see the child.
Exactly.
You have a child on the way.
Right.
Or you have a little one, right?
That's something I don't think any parent gets over, no matter how long,
Yeah.
And having it happening in the same community again, especially if they're witnesses to that crime.
So it's rough.
Yeah.
It's rough. So we sympathize with the family of this incident. His name is Denver Felix of Marsha. And by the way, I think the same Sunday there was a stabbing incident in Marsha as well.
Yes.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Was it connected in any way?
People asking that question, but they're not sure.
Okay.
They're not sure. But who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gun violence is a real problem. It's a real serious problem across the globe. And imagine Jamaica has been having probably like 1 or more homicides every single day.
You going there, right?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Almost
Before you
every
go there,
single
Andre,
day.
we use that as a phrase. Our partner Kunta, I'm sure you heard he died. You know Kunta, right?
Refresh my memory.
The one who went in your vehicle. You somehow he came in your vehicle, and then you tell him what to sort of, and he went out and he slammed the door.
Oh, you serious?
Yes.
What happened?
Kunta died.
Now I had a few bad experiences with him.
Me too.
Yes, a few, and I think for a lot of people, he became like a little nuisance. But it's just so interesting. I saw him. I was going to a restaurant maybe about 2 weeks ago, right? Now I saw the person standing on the side of the road, and I didn't recognize him because he had put on a little weight.
Really?
Yeah, just a little something. You could see his face was a little full, and normally he's a slim guy. And I went inside the restaurant, and while I'm there, I see Mr. Shapi. Now I recognize him at that point. And then he's telling me, showing me his arm. I think it was all swollen and so on. Yeah, so I tell him, okay, when I'm done. So after I was done, I was exiting the restaurant. And of course, he come again, showing me the arm again. I tell him, it's all right. I gave him what I was supposed to give him. I tell him, it's all right. And I went about my business. Because he just seemed to have some kind of almost a split personality kind of thing.
Yeah.
One time he can be very, very nice, very, very jovial, very, very respectful.
Yep.
And another time he's very disrespectful.
Especially if he says, "Boy, give me a change or give me something," and you say, "Nah, I don't have."
Yeah.
He'll be all over.
Yeah,
you.
he gets angry. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He hit me. When I say hit me, with some verbal words.
Yeah.
A few times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I was like, ooh.
So my memories of him are mixed.
Yeah.
Mixed.
Yeah. I remember him in football. When he was being like Claire playing football. He was pretty decent. And I would say hard
he had some
times.
skills.
Maybe drugs. He had some skills. Maybe drugs. Yeah, drugs mash him up. So he was found dead, Andre, somewhere in Grosville area there.
So no
They
foul
said
play suspected?
No foul play suspected.
Yeah,
they said looked like he was not so well. He tripped, and maybe the stem of a tree, like maybe a tree that was cut or something, probably just went up in his throat.
Oh, so he's the one.
Oh, so you heard the story?
Yes, I heard that.
Right.
Yeah, boy. That's okay. Well, again, no doubt. I'm sure he has family and stuff. I'm sure he does.
I wonder.
And I'm sure, fellas usually have family, and I'm sure they probably tried reaching out to him countless occasions. I'm sure the usual story. But these guys, they just get to a certain point, man. They, you just can't reach them anymore.
Yeah.
And that's a scary, scary place to be, boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I'm sorry to hear that. Honestly, I am.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Me too. Regardless, it's a life lost, And somehow, Andrew, we feel just perhaps, if that person still had life, they would probably turn, turn the page, well, not pages, but turn their life around.
And there were times, Tony, he looked like he kind of turned his life around,
That's right.
Yeah, there were times he looks like he was doing all right.
Mm-hmm.
These are the times you're a little more respectful and this sort of thing, and then he just goes back now into this zone.
Well, we're talking about turning your life around. You remember Mikey Goodman, of course.
Of course, yes.
You saw Mikey Goodman in his hard times.
Tony, I saw him recently.
He spoke to you?
Well, we haven't spoken, but I saw him and he was looking really well.
He spoke to me. He told me, man, I off that thing right now, man. I really trying to keep it and trying to make something with my life.
Wow.
Yeah, he told me that.
So it just goes to show that, boy, not all is lost.
That's right. So for Kunta, you keep thinking, boy, just perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
Awa.
And I again, Tony, for people who find themselves in that position, I guess it takes a certain type of character, if you will, maybe even somebody who's skilled, because the average person doesn't have that kind of patience to try to help you to turn around, and you keep kind of disappointing them.
Right.
So that, I guess, that's where you really need professionals to step in and see what is it that they can do to assist those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And the ladies too. There's some of them. There's some females who are in the same position.
Definitely.
Yeah. So you get fed up after a while. You try to reach out and they're just not getting it.
Mm-hmm.
So that takes a certain type of skill, if you will.
Yeah.
And some people just not cut out for that.
That's right.
I remember that lady, I think she was, what is her name again, Tony? Indian lady. She used to live on the Mon. She had she was an MP. I forgot her name. She's an Indian lady. Back in the day. Back in the day.
Died already?
Yeah, she's gone a long time now. She used to live on the Mon. I think Wade used to be related to her.
Heraldine Rock.
Heraldine Rock. Thank you very much, Tony. Yeah, Heraldine Rock.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that lady every year would go to the wellness. Well, it wasn't the wellness center then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it was what they call the Golden Hope.
Yeah.
And every year that lady would go there and dance with those.
Really?
Yeah, with those people, right, who were in there. And I said, Mrs. Rock, how are you able to do that? You know what I mean? She'd go there and have a whale of a time with the fellas. Yeah, she did that every year. And I asked her, how are you able to do something like that? And she said to me, I don't know, it just comes naturally.
She probably was special, Andre. From memory, and I stand corrected, she was at the time the only female MP.
Yeah.
At the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with the John Compton administration and so on. As far as my memory takes me,
I think she was the first female, right?
Yes, yes, and first for sure.
Yeah, I used to freak out on that, man. I said, how she's able to do that, because I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
that's for sure. So as I was saying a while ago, that takes a certain type of skill to be patient. When I read about Jesus Christ, for example, and you see all those people coming around him, I said, boy, how was Jesus Christ able to deal with something like that? You had all these quote unquote bums coming around and harassing him and so on, that sort of thing. There's one time I remember Jesus Christ was saying to some of them, I know you all came just for the food. These fellas didn't come there for salvation, if you're not,
they're hungry.
Yeah. So you get these characters, boy. Wow. Yeah, that is really something. But anyway, so going back to what we were saying a while ago there.
Jamaica,
the Jamaica situation. Because almost on a daily basis, you're hearing about some homicide in Jamaica.
Amazing.
So they said on Sunday, the 8th, was the first murder-free day.
Unbelievable.
In Jamaica.
Unbelievable.
So that means for the last how many years since they've been keeping records?
Every single day somebody's been murdered. Isn't that something? Wow.
Yeah, that is truly. And imagine the Jamaica Police Force was celebrating that,
That's right.
Because, they've been working on reducing the crime rate and so on. I think they said about this time last year, they had like 517 homicides, right? So when they compare now, the same period now, they have 289.
Imagine that. Yeah, that's a huge drop.
Yeah, huge drop. That's for
Wow,
sure.
wow,
That's for
wow,
sure.
wow.
But the state of emergency, all those things, and the police have been coming on really, really hard. In fact, I think right now the number of police killings has been extremely high. I think if I'm not mistaken, I think 100 and something police related killings for the year so far. So now Indicom is investigating all those incidents because it's serious. So the police, obviously, I mean, they're doing the work as to whether they're doing it within the confines of the law that we don't quite know. We're not quite sure about that one. All right. So, I forgot to mention something. When we were talking about the children earlier, there was a story in Trinidad where they said there's a landfill and there was a bag. And in the bag, they said somebody who was looking for scraps and so on, they saw a leg basically dangling from this bag. And it was actually a female fetus. And it was dead. Yeah. So I just forgot to mention it.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
when
right.
we were talking about it earlier.
I heard that story as well.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Andrea, the same thing, probably whatever the person maybe went through, maybe the mother, you know what I mean, and decided to do that. I'm just saying it could be any other way that the child ended up being there. But I'm just saying that is something else. Maybe we started talking about it, unwanted pregnancy and so on, and sad.
Yeah. Again, I just forgot to mention it while we were on that subject. Yeah. Okay, some good news. Come the 1st of July, St. Lucians can expect to see, they say, lower prices for essential goods as the government is removing the value-added tax on at least 70 items, primarily foodstuff. So that's good news. That should assist St. Lucians with their bill at the supermarket. Yeah, because 70 items, I mean, because remember, once it attracts the VAT, the price increases exponentially.
Yes.
So with the removal of VAT on those items, definitely you'll get the foodstuffs would be a lot cheaper.
My only thinking when I heard about that was this. For the how we call it, Andrew, the common man, the common person, how do they understand that, the 12%? I think we
you think they want to understand it? You think they care to understand it?
Just knowing that the prices are lower.
Once you go to the supermarket, that's all we care about.
Seeing the prices on the items.
Yeah,
lower.
we pay less.
Yeah, because I was thinking, talk about 12.5%, then I had to do a little bit of math. And I'm saying things like you have a can of corned beef or something, costs $5. And if you remove the 12.5%, you get whatever price you get in doing the math. You know what I mean? And that is what it would cost. But like you said, seeing the prices, because all we hear about is prices gone up. Today you go to the supermarket, you get this. Next week you go to the supermarket, the same thing, price jack. So it would be good to finally see it reduced.
Yes, that's good news.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the government has some level of control, because if the item attracts the VAT, then you have enough control to remove the VAT.
Yes.
So the price decreases.
Right.
But there's some items that do not attract VAT, and those now I guess they don't have much control where that is concerned.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it's 12.5%. I guess the levy
The
called?
health and security levy.
Health and security level stays there.
I suppose for now.
Yeah.
For now. Yeah, because the government has to. I mean, we have to run a country.
I like that. We.
Yeah, we have to run the country, and we need money. We want the services and everything, but we don't want to pay the taxes. We try to get away. We do this and that and the other, and governments now have to try to outsmart us.
Yeah.
Why are we trying to outsmart them? It's crazy. It's crazy. Okay, just a reminder, folks, that we're into the hurricane season. And experts, of course, are predicting that it should be above normal season, between 13 and 19 named storms. And PAHO now is urging health authorities to, be prepared, get ready, because just in case you have one system which could impact the health. In other words, if for example you have a hurricane, and that hurricane causes damage to homes, and as a result of causing the damage to homes, sometimes you have damage, you get people get hurt and things like that. Are we prepared now for the maybe this large scale of individuals who are going to be taken to the hospital, taken to other healthcare facilities, and so on? Are we able to handle that sort of thing?
Perhaps need shelter and that kind of thing as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so be prepared.
Be prepared.
Yeah, be prepared.
Let me tell you, that term, Andre, every single hurricane season, that is what you hear. So and so and so. Remember, be prepared.
So that's one aspect where people get hurt accidentally and so on. So that's one issue. The other issue has to do with the like you have extreme levels of water, right? Water levels are really, really high. And as a result of that now, increased risk, they said, of waterborne diseases, diarrhea, cholera, vector-borne diseases such as dengue and chikungunya, because remember mosquitoes and so on come with stagnant water. So boy, being in a position, Tony, in government, boy, that's a heck of a thing,
It is.
That's a heck of a responsibility.
You got a whole country to run.
So I know there are people who feel that you don't need a government to run the affairs of a country. We really do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. We do. You need leaders all the time to make decisions. You know what I mean? Some tough decisions that you have to make. You definitely need that. You don't just need people that are around and you select. Okay, I select you because I think you're good at that. I select you and just put you there and say, okay, that. I'm talking about like I like Keena. I just figure Keena is good at speaking. She speaks properly, so I put Keena as Minister of Education. You know what I mean? So, although that's kind of anyway. Keena, how are you?
I'm doing great, actually.
Oh, all right. I missed you there for a little bit.
Yeah.
So just one final thing, Tony and Keena, two of the world's top weather agencies are forecasting several years of extreme record-breaking heat. They said over the next 5 years, we have to brace ourselves for that. There's an 80% chance that the world will break another annual temperature record, right? So look out for that.
How many years? 5 years?
Yeah, between the now and next 4 or 5 years.
Well, we've already seen what it can do, and it hasn't been that hot. But last year and the year before, it was really hot. I think they did say that this year it won't be as hot, but still. And that also impacts what happens during the hurricane season as well, because with a rise in temperatures, then you have many more hurricanes, and the categories would be a lot higher. So, boy, that's kind of scary.
Yes. So while this year may be a little cooler, remember we have another 4 years to go. So they're saying between now and the next 5 years, and once you have the heat, that means stronger hurricanes, a lot more rain, a lot more precipitation, things like droughts and so on. These sorts of things are what we can expect over the next few years.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah, we're living in a very, very unstable world, boy. And I don't know. I don't think we can ever come back to what was normal, Tony. And I think we lived in a time when we had normal, right?
Normal.
Yeah, quote unquote normal.
Quote unquote normal. I think. Yeah.
I don't think we can ever come back to that.
Yeah.
It's just the world is on a certain trajectory, and nothing. I think if anything, it may even get worse. If anything, yeah. Tony, we forgot to say good morning to the folks on DBS, man.
Well, today is
we
Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday.
I thought they would be with us because remember we're doing the program. Papa used to say
At 11.
Do you think they're going to join us at 11 o'clock?
Yeah. Are we on DBS? Somebody let us know.
Someone would have said, check WhatsApp. Let me double check WhatsApp.
You'll check it yourself? Okay, great. Thanks. Yeah, man. So that's the thing. Andre, I know Wednesdays, they had this program. But of course, for the past 2 Wednesdays, they didn't have it. So perhaps it's on as of today. So that's what crossed my mind. That's why we didn't mention DBS. I remember...
No comments. No, nothing on it.
Yeah. I remember somebody... Now that we mentioned it, somebody will probably let us know. I remember when we did the Mother's Day, you remember they were not with us every day. So they joined us at 11 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, I guess maybe that's what they're going to do.
Right.
Alrighty. No problem. So anything you guys want to mention before we end?
I'm on this evening at 6 o'clock.
Oh,
Don't forget that. It's Rev-Up the Homegrown. And today we're going to talk about the 40 power and soca artists who have made it to the quarterfinals. And more information, of course, during that time.
Oh, great. I can't wait.
Yes.
Okay. And Keena, what do you have coming up?
On today's program, we're going to focus on the latest with the P. Diddy trial, or Sean Combs' trial. The scientists are now saying that men can die of a broken heart.
Yeah.
So Yeah, an actual broken heart. Something happens and they're sad and whatever. So I'll break that down a bit further. And not only that, Dr. Lancico is going to be back today, and we're focusing on men's health. Everything to do with men's health, from prostate cancer to getting your regular checkups to diabetes, hypertension, everything.
Okay, sounds
It's
interesting.
special.
I read this morning, I think, Sean, I think the judge in the trial threatened to put him out of the court.
Yeah, last week they did, because he was interacting with the jurors in court, and he shouldn't be doing that.
They said he was nodding.
He was nodding.
So-
That's an interaction.
But I was
It
curious
is?
to know, why would he
Yeah.
nod? Why would,
Because if somebody's saying something, you know. You
No,
didn't
he
know
was
and stuff.
actually looking at the jurors, and he was trying to make eye contact. He was making eye contact and nodding and stuff. He wasn't doing that before, and obviously trying to get their attention. So the judge reprimanded him.
because the person who was giving evidence at the time was talking about an experience where he was dangling her over some balcony
That's
or
Cassie
something.
Ventura's friend.
So
Yes.
when I read that he was nodding, I said it can't be because of the evidence that she's giving, because it's something negative. So
It's
why would he
something
be
negative,
Why would he be
yes.
nodding? I couldn't understand why he was nodding.
But- so-
Only Diddy knows why he was nodding.
Nodding is this,
Right.
Or it can be that too.
Yeah,
I
but
think
he
nodding
alone
is
knows
usually
why
in the affirmative.
he was nodding.
Yeah.
Maybe I can't begin to imagine what is going through his mind on a daily basis. Sometimes it was maybe just a reaction to something he was thinking, not necessarily the witness testimony or anything. And being that he was looking in the direction of the jurors, the judge picked up on it and reprimanded him. We don't know, so I have no idea.
All right. Okay, so can we now get into the creme de la creme?
Definitely.
What Papa used to say. Okay, we hope that you guys are ready, set to go, to give us a call. Let me just give those numbers. The fixed line is 572-9710, 572-9710, or you can WhatsApp 287-0971. WhatsApp is 287-0971. And today's show brought to you with the compliments of La Place Salaison and also by Kibis.
Sports Bar and Grill.
You know what I like. Yeah.
Wine, dine, and chill. Welcome to Kiwi Sports Bar and Grill. Please choose your seat.
Feel the pulse of Rodney Bay whilst we serve up mouth-watering 100% delicious menu every day. With meals starting at $25, located on the Rodney Bay Strip. Kiwi Sports Bar and Grill, the best sports bar and grill in St. Lucia. Come dine or just chill whilst you sip on one of our signature cocktails from our premium bar. Viewing your favorite sports on our many-hued screen. Kiwi Sports Bar and Grill. Good food, entertainment, laughter, and fun.
Where it's always buzzing.
It's delicious.
La Place Salaison is the true home of quality meat and deli products, selected and priced to suit every palate and pocket. We sell all cuts of meat, poultry and fish, from tasty lamb necks and succulent pork chops to lean dolphin and juicy top round steaks. Our deli items include turkey, ham, bacon, pork sausages, meat patties, chicken nuggets, deli ham and eggs, so that breakfast or that party is a breeze. And for your added convenience, we sell restaurant essentials and grocery items. So where's your next meal coming from? La Place Salaison, of course. La Place Salaison, Castries, Rosalie, Beaufort, and Soufrière.
It's delicious.
Happy Father's Day to you. Happy Father's Day to you. Happy Father's Day to every man ready to fight for their responsibility.
Alrighty, let's say good morning, good afternoon, good night to all of you in St. Lucia and across the globe. Welcome to Papa Used to Say. This is an opportunity for you to call us at the numbers, fixed line 572-9710 or WhatsApp 287-0971. And you have to tell us something that your Papa said to you which has impacted your life. And all you have to do is just give us a call, give us the story. We'll take 3 calls in the first instance. Then after that, we're asking you, the listeners, to call in and say who is the person that you're choosing of the 3 to be the qualifier. All right? So those qualifiers, the names will go into a box and we'll have the draw this coming Friday. So everybody's going to win. And let me just mention some of the prizes here. We have an MRI prostate examination valued at close to $3,000. Compliments La Clinique de Corps. A complimentary dental cleaning compliments Dr. Long's Dental Clinic. 2 boxes of hard-on. A dinner for 2 compliments Sandals Le Talk. A dinner for 2 compliments Bellevue Hotel. 5 cakes, 1 large, 4 small compliments Angel Without Wings. 3 $200 gift vouchers compliments La Place Salazon. Spa treatments compliments touch therapies. 3 gifts packages compliments automotive art. A cash prize of $100 with the compliments of Yaslin's Eatery. A $100 reflexology treatment gift voucher. 1 bottle Campari and 2 $250 gift vouchers compliments Crown Auto on Brazil Street Castries. Correct, Tony?
Absolutely correct.
Sorry about that. Okay.
Absolutely correct.
Okay, so good stuff. So I think we have somebody on the line already. Let's just take that call then. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello there. And how are you doing?
I'm good. How are y'all doing?
We are very
All
well.
right, we're doing all right.
And that's a call from the diaspora.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So can we just have your name, please? I'm not sure about the number. What's your name?
My name is Madrina Moreau.
Okay. Oh, Madrina. Hey. Madrina Moreau.
Welcome,
No
Madrina.
doubt. If I know Madrina, if she wins, she will share the prizes. If I know her correctly, yes.
Well-
Right, Madrina?
But that's a funny thing you say.
Yes.
If she wins.
Yes. It was.
But this is a Father's Day thing, huh?
Well, I mean, yes. But totally, somebody
If
has
she
to win the
wins,
thing. Yeah. Somebody has to win it. Yes.
Oh, so
What you asking?
a woman would win and would give it to her father.
I suppose.
But you know, one
yeah.
of them who called yesterday said her father passed away a few years ago. Huh?
Mhm. Yeah.
You realize that?
Yeah.
But
well,
if she does win,
but-
she can give it to.
So let's see how I do, okay?
yeah.
But if I win.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. You'll have my number.
We do.
You'll have my
Okay.
number.
Mhm. Yes, Madrina.
Andre, my father had 7 girls in the house. And he always said to us, if you meet a man and he wants to date you, right? He wants to have a relationship with you. Before you go out there and do anything with that man, you need to send him home to me. All right? So everybody that wanted to date us, we had to say, a serious relationship, right? If you meet somebody, you think this person might be somebody that I can have a relationship with. You have to send them home to that.
Wow.
And do you know my husband had to go talk to my father? And just about a month or 2 ago, he said to my kids, and that surprised me. He had never said that to me. He said, the reason why he married me was because I was the only girl he had ever met who told him, go talk to my father
Wow.
before I could
Wow.
have a relationship with him.
Imagine. that.
So that made me feel so good, because I've been telling even my daughter, I said to my daughter, if you meet a boy and he wants to have a relationship with you, just send him home, send him to daddy. Daddy will talk to him. And I say, now you have 2 brothers and he have your brother. I said to her, your brothers will have to interview them too. So that kind of scares her. She said to me, Mommy, that scares me. My daughter, it scares her that a boy has to talk to a father plus her 2 brothers. So I don't know how that will go, but that was the reason why my husband said he married me.
Imagine that.
You
so,
Yes.
Madrina, I'm just curious to know, do you know what the conversation entailed when your father spoke with your
Well, he will surely ask them, do you intend to marry my daughter? He asked them that question. I know for a fact that he will ask them that question. That's one of the questions that I know that he asked. I don't know the rest.
Wow. So
I don't
get-
know the rest.
So,
yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, Madrina, that was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you very
Yes,
much.
Thank you.
All
All right,
righty.
Madrina.
Take care. Yes, folks. This is Papa used to say. That was a good one. Yeah, so Papa used to say, if anybody come and check you, send them to me. Wow. That's an interesting one. Okay, we have another caller. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Andre. Good morning.
Hey.
Good
One
morning.
of our
Thanks for
regulars.
accepting my call.
Thank you very much, sir, for calling. Just again, for purposes of transparency, what is your full name?
Joseph Sylvester.
Okay, Joseph Sylvester. All right, Mr. Sylvester. You want to give your name again? Sorry. I'll give you your number. Sorry, your number.
725
725-4558.
725-4558.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, wonderful. So go ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay. Andre, Tony Keena, thanks for accepting my call.
Obviously.
You're welcome.
Okay. Andre, like I told you yesterday, my father was more about my education and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But my stepfather, Andre, who really raised me, he was more on the moral side of my life. Because, Andre, I can remember in 1981, at the age of 17, working at Hess for $125 EC dollars a week. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Andre, at 17 years. Andre, then I had this little girlfriend, Andre. I found my first little girlfriend. She came home and so forth. And he called me aside. Not the same day, about a week or so after the girl started coming home. And then he told me, hey, right now, uniti jalwa present, you will have to get your own hole. because because during that time, Andre, I was staying home. Yeah, he told me I will have to get my own hole and so forth. And then, Andre, I expect that, but I wasn't prepared for it. You see?
Yes.
Because I see in the same area, they have people there where they have their boyfriend and girlfriend and they living together with their parents. So I wasn't prepared for that. But he keep on telling me that, because when I used to go and come back, he tell me, no, you have to find your own home, build your own nest, because this girl can get pregnant. And he told me, let go buden timamela, ukay menenya kaila.
A good question.
You understand? So Andre, he used to ring that in my ears, Andre, and I took that, Andre, and I remember going and rent my first house, Andre, with my first girlfriend for $40 a week in 1981.
Oh wow.
Yeah, $30 a week. Our partition, Andre, was a
curtain.
Was a bed sheet.
Wow.
So Andre, when he told me that, Andre, that set me up in life. I rent house, I build my house, Andre, and that put me up on a path, Andre, where I never become lazy in my life. Never.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
I work to provide for my family. But I was a good setup, Andre, in life. When my stepfather, not my father, my stepfather told me that, and he keep on ringing that.
Get your own hole.
Get your own hole.
You manned up.
And build your nest.
Pas demal kwa baka waiting on them too.
Yeah. If you say if you say set, ektima if you are meneng. I had to. He asked me if they'll bring the child.
Yep.
If the girl, so I had to find my way, Andre. But that was a good for me, and from this day, Andre, I've been there. My own house, my own home.
Nice.
And I'm telling my children that once you find your girlfriend or boyfriend, get your place. And like he told me, I'm not makakuido, I'm not running after you. I'm just telling you the fact. I just can't do that with you.
So in other words, you could have stayed in the house, no problem, but make sure that there was no pregnancy.
I could have stayed in the house, and because Andre, let me give you a short one. Because a day, one of my brother died, and my girlfriend come in the house, and she had to overnight. Now the house have 3 bedrooms. I thought I could have slept together. They say no. I sleep with my brothers, and she slept with one of my sisters.
That's how it was done back in the day. Yeah.
The Huner voices used to have a song say "Power swear."
Yeah. So that's the morality of life, Andre.
Yes.
He taught me, and I have that, and I live in my life with that, and passing that on to my children. And
wonderful.
So forth.
Wonderful. Thank you, my brother. As always a pleasure hearing from this gentleman.
Thank you
Always
so
a
much
pleasure.
for calling, Mr. Sylvester.
Yes, this is Papa used to say.
One more.
Our Papa used to say, Tony, I said I was going to say it earlier, man propose, God dispose.
That's right.
That's what he used to say.
Propose,
God
right.
dispose. Okay, we have somebody else on the line. Good morning.
Good morning, Andre. Good morning, Keena. Good morning, Tony. How are you doing?
Hello
good morning,
there.
good morning, good
Good
morning.
I
morning.
think-
Good
Sheila
morning.
here.
I think I recognize that voice, but just for transparency and accountability, what's your name?
Petula Charles.
Petula.
Yes.
Yeah, I recognize the voice.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I guess, would you care to give your number or you want to keep that private?
It's 285-5630.
285
5630.
5630. Okay, wonderful, Petula. So,
Yes. One thing my father has taught me to do is to be a respectable young woman. I remember in my younger days, I met this particular guy, and my father knew about this guy. So there was once being a daddy's girl. I went to visit him in his office, and he started speaking about this guy, and he gave me one slap on my face. I'm like, what? I was shocked. So then, it's just about being a respectable woman. So from then on, I learned from that being a respectable woman, not to go out there, because he knew that I was with somebody. So from then on, I've been taught to be with one person and be respectable for myself.
I'm a little confused.
Right.
Yeah, Petula. Can you just give that story again?
Right.
I'm a little confused.
Yes. There was once I went to his office, and then
Who-
he started
his
speaking
who?
about
His
this
who?
guy.
Yeah, who is
Your
his?
father's office?
Yes, my father's office.
Oh, your
Ah,
father's office.
okay,
All right.
Yes, and he gave me that slap. So it taught me that that he wants what's best for me. That he doesn't want me
So-
to be around this person.
So, so you were you were what, talking to a guy and he didn't approve of that
Yes.
guy?
Yes.
Oh my.
So from now on, I realized that, I have to be a respectable young woman. And I know if I'm with anybody and it shows a red flag, then that's it for me.
And what happened? What's the lesson you said? If you are around anybody, what happened?
Anybody, and then I'm seeing that I'm not respectable, like I'm not having respect for myself,
Hmm.
and that's it. That's a red flag.
Oh, okay. All right. I think I got you. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Petula. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you very
for
much.
calling.
Good luck.
Yes, a little surprised that she actually called for the show. Yeah.
How so she don't really call?
Not at all. First time I ever heard Petula calling.
She did call for our Mother's Day promotion.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, she did.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Mama
You
used
remember
to
the
say, I
name?
remember the name and I remember the voice.
Okay.
Wow, I didn't remember that at all. Okay, well, all right, no problem. Well, keep it up.
Yes.
Okay, so now you have to give us a call, and out of the three callers, we had caller number 1, Madrina Moreau, number 2, Joseph Sylvester, and of course number 3, Petula Charles. So now you have to decide which is the qualifier, today's qualifier of the three.
Right.
All right, so please, I know you probably prefer calling to give your little story, but there's always tomorrow and the day after.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need you now to decide who is today's qualifier. So here we go. Good morning.
Good morning, Andre.
Good morning.
I'm so glad I got through.
Yeah. Pastor.
Good
Direct-
morning.
Oh, hey,
Good.
Pastor Phil, how you doing
Nice
there?
selection. I'm great, Andre. Working on the eyes.
Oh, yes. How's that coming on?
That's coming on great.
All
That's
right.
coming on great.
Lovely.
Yes.
And
Okay.
I know we have to meet soon. So, yeah, looking forward to
Yes.
it. Yes.
Beautiful. The one that caught my attention is talk to Papa, because I spoke to her Papa first, and my daughter, her husband, came to me. So I vote for that one.
Number 1. Yes, number 1.
Yes.
Adrena.
Okay, Councillor Pastor Phil Leo. Thank you very much for calling and for listening as always. By the way, folks, let me just use the opportunity to say that pretty soon on Rev-Up, Pastor Phil is going to be a regular presenter.
Oh.
Yes,
Oh,
he's going to be
great.
presenting his show, and that's going to be very, very exciting. I can tell you that.
Can't wait.
All right, so
Right.
looking for. Remember, he's a counselor,
Yes,
a
that's right.
a trained one at that.
And he's pretty good.
Yes, so looking forward to that. Okay, so we have one merit so far for Madrina Moreau. Madrina, yeah, you're doing well so far. So please, folks, give us a call because we don't want to be the ones to make the decision. Leave that up to you. So we need you to call us and to tell us who do you think should be today's qualifier. And we'll be having 5 qualifiers at the end of the day. So Friday, we'll of course now make do the draw, and out of the 5, one person will be number 1, etc., etc., etc. Okay? So everybody will be a winner at the end of the day. Okay, now we have somebody's calling, and hey, this one is actually from the diaspora. Let's go there right away. Good morning.
Good morning. I prefer the first caller.
First caller,
Adrena.
number 1. Alrighty. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. All righty. Thank you. Yeah, that's from the diaspora, man. So we need one more. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. Yes, so we're looking for more calls. We have somebody calling here again from the diaspora again. Oh, boy. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello
Caller
there.
number one, please.
Number one. So that's unanimous.
Case closed.
Case closed.
Yes.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much for calling.
Wow. Yeah, hands
It's a
down.
wrap.
Yeah, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Yes. So I want to thank, of course, Mr. Joseph Sylvester as always, and Petula for calling. We appreciate all the calls, but we could only have one qualifier,
Yes.
unfortunately.
Yes.
I see somebody is calling, but that's it, my friend. Sorry about that. Please, you can try again tomorrow.
Yes.
As we continue with Papa used to say, until Friday of this week. And Friday we'll be having the grand draw. All right? So, Madrina Moreau, congratulations. You are a qualifier. The only thing is that where exactly do you qualify? Meaning, will you be the number one qualifier, number 2, 3, 4, etc.,
Exactly.
etc.? Yeah.
Madrina Moreau.
Yes.
Moreau, something like that?
Yes, Moreau.
Okay.
So Madrina, for sure, you're going to be you will get
For sure,
prizes.
for sure.
Yeah, that's the good thing.
Yes.
But we have the lion's share going to the person who comes first out of the 5 qualifiers.
Yes, those that we draw. So we'll draw for the 5th, we'll draw for the 4th in that order.
Mhm. That's how
then
we're doing
the
it.
last draw will be the biggest prize winner.
And let me just use the opportunity to say that we have another great idea coming up for next year already, for Mother's Day and Father's Day. We have a great idea, which I haven't discussed yet. But I know we like it. I know we will. And even if we don't like it, I'm sure maybe one of us, maybe Tony will have a much better idea, or Keena might have a much better idea. So either way, we're going to be having another show, another idea, fresh idea for next year for Mother's Day and Father's Day. All right?
Most definitely.
Okay, so remember we have some more action coming up at 11:30 until midday. I'll be having a representative from the Bellevue Hotel. Her name is Andrea Mathre. So we'll be chatting between 11:30 and 12, and that's going to be a lot of fun because she'll be giving away some prizes, etc., and telling us a lot more about what's going to be happening for Father's Day this coming Sunday at Bellevue Hotel from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. So anything you guys want to say before we move on?
That's for just the interview at 11:30. That's going to be a really, really good one.
Yes.
Because as you hinted, that she'll be giving away prizes right now.
That's right.
Right. So you can. Oh,
Tony, welcome to my world.
So you can
and I have an advantage on you. I can always switch on the microphone.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So she'll be giving away some prizes. So expect to win something today. That's one. And number 2, talking about all the great stuff that will be happening at Bellevue
For Father's Day.
That's right. This
Right.
coming Sunday, Father's Day. So it's going to be a really, really special interview, man. And Bellevue, Andrea, and Keena, one of those places that has changed hands a few times. But I think it's so settled now. It's a beautiful place, and there's a lot happening there. If you have not heard about it,
Yes.
you're going to hear all about it today.
That's right. There's a lot happening there. So again, congratulations to my good friend Madrina Moreau.
Right.
So no doubt, Tony, she has a lot of family in St. Lucia.
Right.
I'm sure she will direct us as to exactly who gets what and what gets who.
Yes,
Right?
yes, most definitely.
Okay, so folks, stay tuned for more action coming up. We're going to take a break on Facebook, YouTube, and X, and we'll get back to you on Facebook, YouTube, and X because we have to have that all over the place.
Yes, for
on
sure.
all the platforms. All right.
That is with the
Yeah.
interview at 11:30.
So
right?
stay tuned. Stay tuned. We have much more to give away on Rev-Up St. Lucia this time now with the compliments of Bellevue.
That's right.
So Tony, thank you so much. Keena, thank you very much.
so much.
Yeah, you guys can go and chill for a little while and come back here for midday.
All right.
Okay, no problem.
Yes, all right.
Right, bye-bye.
So this has been another Papa Used to Say for today, Wednesday, the 11th of June. Until tomorrow morning, same time. The show today brought to you with the compliments of La Place Saint-Lizon and Kiwis.